Welcome to the introductory video to accompany my new book, Melodeon Classics, From Morris to Mozart. I've been playing classical music on the Melodeon for many years and thought that it was about time that I put my thoughts and ideas down in writing. The inherent limitations of a diatonic instrument, that is, one that essentially plays in two major keys, mean that some compromise is necessary. Maybe we don't always have all the necessary notes. Sometimes a note is available, but the chord you want isn't. I've chosen the tunes in this book because I think they can be made to work well. In this video, I'm going to introduce the notation used throughout the book and hopefully give you some pointers. It would be helpful if you could have read pages 4 to 7 and page 10 before you watch the video. I'm going to illustrate the notation using the specific example of tune number 5 in the book, the Merry Widow Waltz by Franz Lehár. If we look at this example, the first thing we see is that it's written in the key of G major. We can see this because there's one sharp in the key signature, an F sharp. The symbol above the first note here is the same symbol that violinists use to indicate a down bow. I'm using it to indicate that the bellow should be pushed or closed or squeezed. The V-shaped symbol here is the one that violinists use to indicate that they want an up bow, and I'm using it to indicate an opening or pulling or drawing apart of the bellows. You'll notice that I've highlighted various parts of the music in two colours, some of it's green and some of it's red. I find this really helpful so that I can see at a glance whether I should be pushing or pulling. I use green for push and red for a pull. You might like to photocopy the tune you're working on and highlight that copy rather than the original, because later on, when you've got used to the notation, in some cases you'll have a choice about pushing or pulling, and you might wish to change your mind. The first two rows below the musical stave, these numbers here, indicate which buttons to press on the G row and the D row. In each case, the button nearest your chin is button number 1. I'm assuming that the third button on the inside row, the G row, is your G button. This is the case for many Melodeons, but certainly not all. If yours differs, you'll need to adjust the numbering accordingly. The third row below the stave, here we are with the capital G and lowercase g's, for example. The third row below the stave indicates which left-hand buttons to use. I'm using a capital letter for a bass note and a lowercase letter for a chord. So this capital G here is the bass note G, and these lowercase g's are chords. So here, capital G, lowercase g means play bass note G followed by 2 G chords. The button chart on page 9 of the book shows the standard left-hand layout. If we now look at tune number 6, O mio Babino Caro by Puccini, we see that some of the bass notes and chords are written in brackets. So look at this first example here, where we have got a capital G denoting a bass note G and a lowercase g denoting a chord G, and they're written in brackets. When this happens, this indicates that the bass note and the chord should be played together at the same time. Here's another example where we've got a bass note E and a chord EM, which stands for E minor, so a bass note E and a chord E minor in brackets, so played together at the same time. Sometimes no left-hand chord is required, and when that happens I've indicated that by the symbol X here. So the symbol X indicates no bass note and no chord should be played at that moment. Of course, all of these things are simply suggestions and ideas that have worked for me. As you progress, you'll find alternatives that sound equally pleasing to your ears, so I would urge you to experiment. Do let me know what works and what doesn't, and if necessary, I shall produce some more videos to try to help. Best wishes in your journey of finding nice classical tunes to render on a Melodeon. Thanks for listening.